Good morning, students. Students, in our previous lecture, we have done with you the physical characteristics or the general characteristics of halogen. Now today we start with the discussion of a chemical characteristics of halogen. As far as chemical characteristics is concerned, the first will be reactivity. First is reactivity. Now always remember, students, halogens are the most reactive element due to low bond dissociation energy, then high electron affinity and high enthalpy of hydration. So they are most reactive. They are most reactive element. Halogens are most reactive. Reason is why? So due to low bond dissociation energy. 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 And then high enthalpy of hydration. High electron affinity. Low bond dissociation energy. High electron affinity. And third will be high enthalpy of hydration. High electron affinity and high enthalpy of hydration. High enthalpy of hydration. So why the halogens are most reactive? Due to low bond dissociation energy, high electron affinity and high enthalpy of hydration. And the reactivity order for this will be fluorine is more reactive than chlorine, which will be more reactive than bromine, which again will be more reactive than iodine. So fluorine over here is the most reactive element over here. Fluorine is most reactive. And then iodine is least reactive in nature. Fluorine is more reactive and iodine will be least reactive in nature. Am I clear? So the reactivity of the halogen goes on decreasing and decreasing on moving down the group. Is it clear? Now second is reactivity towards water. The second property is reactivity towards water. Reactivity towards water. How we account for the reactivity towards water? Now, fluorine, if made to react with water, it decomposes water into oxygen and ozone. Just see the reaction over here. If you take fluorine, this is very important reaction. Fluorine when react with water. Fluorine when react with water, it will result in the formation of hydrofluoric acid and oxygen in the form of a gas will be given out. Hydrofluoric acid and oxygen in the form of a gas will be given out. Similarly, if you take fluorine and this is made to again react with water, it will result in the formation of hydrofluoric acid and ozone will be given out. Hydrofluoric acid and ozone will be given out. This is very important reaction because the ozone is still in the syllabus. So this becomes a method of preparation of ozone. Now chlorine. So remember this equation. Chlorine when dissolved in water, it will result in the formation of chlorine water. And the chlorine water will be the combination of HCl and HClO. So chlorine in water forms chlorine water. Similarly, if you take bromine, bromine when made to react with water, it will result in the formation of hydrogen bromide and HOBr. The product obtained over here will be HBr and HOBr will be given out. I think I shall be very clear. Iodine does not decompose water. So this is the reactivity towards water. Iodine does not decompose water. So if you take iodine, so iodine does not decompose and does not decompose water. So iodine does not decompose water. I think the two properties must be very, very clear. So fluorine decomposes water into hydrofluoric acid and oxygen or the hydrofluoric acid and ozone. Chlorine when dissolved in water, it forms the chlorine water which is a mixture of HCl and the HClO over here. Fine. Chlorine decomposes water in the presence of sunlight. Similarly, the reactivity of bromine again is less. So fluorine will be more reactive as compared to chlorine, as compared to bromine, as compared to iodine. Now the third property is reactivity towards hydrogen. Reactivity towards hydrogen. So reactivity towards hydrogen. How do they react and react towards hydrogen? Reactivity towards hydrogen. Now when halogen react with hydrogen, they form the halogen halides of the type HX. They form halogen halides of the type HX. Like hydrogen, when react with fluorine, and the temperature over here will be minus 200 degrees C. It will result in the formation of hydrofluoric acid. And this will be the violent reaction over here. So the reaction over here will be violent. Am I clear? So this is an explosive reaction over here. Similarly, the hydrogen, when react with chlorine, it will result in the formation of hydrogen chloride. The reactivity will take place in the presence of sunlight. So you may see over here, the reaction of fluorine is fast as compared to chlorine. If you take hydrogen, and hydrogen is made to react with chlorine, hydrogen is made to react with a bromine. Here in this case, you may require the platinum catalyst. The catalyst will be acquired and we need to heat, and this will result in the formation of a hydrogen bromide. Similarly, hydrogen, when made to react with iodine, the reaction will be further very, very slow, and over here it will require heat, and this will result in the formation of hydrogen iodide. So again, through this reaction we observe reactivity of halogen goes on decreasing. And remember, their halogen acids are acidic in nature. So all of them are covalent halides in the gaseous form and behaves like acids. So these are covalent halides in the gaseous form and behaves like acids. All these are covalent halides. All the halides are covalent. And when these halides are dissolved in water, it may result in the formation of hydronium ion. It may result in the formation of hydronium ion and the halide ion, which shows that they are acidic in nature. So all the hydrogen halides are covalent halides and they are acidic in nature. Their hydrogen halides are acidic in nature. Now just see very clearly. If we look at the acidic strength, so hydrogen acidic strength, now HX, more is the ease with which this bond is broken, more will be the acidic strength. So remember, hydrogen iodide is more acidic as compared to HBr, as compared to HCl, and as compared to HF. So this will be the decreasing order of acidic strength. This over here will be the decreasing order of acidic strength. So this is their decreasing order of acidic strength. I think I shall be very clear, student. Fine. How does the acidic strength increases on moving down the group? Because the breaking of hydrogen halogen bond becomes easy. So removal of proton becomes easy. So when they are dissolved in water, they easily form the hydronium ion. So this will be acidic in nature over here. Second will be the reducing character of this. So if we consider the reducing character, when we consider the reducing character of hydrides, so reducing character of hydrides. So if we consider the reducing character of hydrides, in this case, more is the ease with which hydrogen is lost or hydrogen halogen bond breaks. More is the ease with which oxidation occurs, and the substance which undergo oxidation easily always act as a strong reducing agent. So what will be the reducing character? Hydrogen iodide will be more reducing as compared to HBr, which will be more reducing as compared to HCl, which again will be more reducing as compared to hydrogen fluoride. Is it clear? Now the third is a boiling point. third over here will be a boiling point. Again, stronger the bond strength, more will be the boiling point. So boiling point of hydrogen fluoride will be more as compared to HCl, as compared to HBr, which again will be more as compared to HI. In hydrogen fluoride, this will be the having a higher boiling point, and this will be having the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding will be present over here. So in HF, there will be intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Am I clear? So HF is having a higher boiling point as compared to HCl, as compared to HBr, as compared to hydrogen iodide. As far as the reducing character is concerned, hydrogen iodide is more reducing as compared to HBr, as compared to HCl, as compared to HF. As far as the acidic strength is concerned, HI will be more acidic as compared to HBr, HCl and HF. Now after the boiling point, we have thermal stability. If we consider their thermal stability, again as we move down the group, the hydrogen halogen bond strength becomes lesser and lesser. So thermal stability goes on decreasing. So over here, HF is more thermally stable as compared to HCl, HBr and HI. As compared to HCl, which is more stable as compared to HBr, which again will be more stable as compared to hydrogen iodide. Am I clear? So many questions are associated as far as the reaction towards the hydrogen is concerned. So when the halogen react with hydrogen, they form the hydrogen halide of the type HX. This hydrogen halide, when dissolved in water, they form hydronium ion. Am I clear? Acidic strength decreases down the group. Reducing character, acidic strength increases down the group. Reducing character of hydrogen halides increases down the group. Boiling point decreases and the thermal stability goes on decreasing on moving down the group over here. I think, student, I shall be very, very clear. Am I clear? Now, we will discuss with you the reaction with alkalis. So, how we account for the reaction with alkalis? So, third property or the fourth property will be reaction with alkalis. This is again the important reaction over here. Reaction with alkalis. If you take halogen, fluorine when made to react with a cold and dilute sodium hydroxide. Fluorine when made to react with cold and dilute sodium hydroxide. This is important reaction. It will result in the formation of sodium fluoride. The product obtained will be sodium fluoride plus oxygen difluoride plus a molecule of water will be given out. Similarly, if we take the fluorine molecule and let it react with the sodium hydroxide, which is hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide, it may result in the formation of sodium fluoride. The compound so formed will be sodium fluoride plus oxygen will be given out and 2 molecules of water will be given out. Learn this very thoroughly, students. Both the reactions can be asked in the board examination. Always remember, when the halogens other than fluorine, they react with NaOH as follows. Very important note. Halogens other than fluorine, they react as follows. Halogens other than fluorine react as follows. React as follows. This will be a very, very important reaction. Any halogen X2 in the form of a gas, this can either be chlorine, bromine or iodine. Am I clear? They react with a cold and dilute alkali. Suppose they react with a sodium hydroxide and this sodium hydroxide is cold and dilute. So it will result in the formation of sodium halide. This will be NaCl plus NaClO. This will result in the formation of NaClO plus water will be given out over here. Plus water will be given out over here. Just see over here. What is an oxidation number of chlorine halogen over here? If I say this is chlorine, suppose. If I say this is chlorine, what is an oxidation number of chlorine over here? 0. Here -1. Here +1. So chlorine undergo oxidation as well as a reduction. So it is an example of disproportionation reaction. What example is this? It is an example of disproportionation reaction. I think I shall be very clear. Similarly, if you take chlorine and react with a hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide over here. If you take sodium hydroxide, and this sodium hydroxide will be hot and concentrated, it will result in the formation of sodium chloride. Compound so formed will be sodium chloride plus the NaXO3 will form. So it will result in the formation of sodium chloride plus NaClO3 plus NaClO3 will be given out over here plus 3 molecule of water will be given out plus 3 molecule of water will be given out over here. So here again the chlorine is oxidation number 0, here it is -1 and here I think it will be +1 -6, this will be equal to +5. So this again is a case of a disproportionation reaction. So it is again a case of a disproportionation reaction over here. Am I clear, student, over here? These reactions are very important reaction. Chlorine, when react with cold and dilute sodium hydroxide, it will form NaCl negative and NaClO positive. Chlorine, when react with hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide, it will form NaCl and NaClO3 over here. Almost a sure question in the board examination. Very important, student, from the examination point of view, and every year these questions are asked in the board examination. Now the next property is the bleaching action of halogens. Bleaching action. Bleaching action of halogens. When we talk about the bleaching actions of halogens, student, remember, chlorine acts as a bleaching agent in the presence of moisture and it is due to oxidation. So chlorine acts as a bleaching agent in the presence of moisture and the bleaching action is due to oxidation. Chlorine, when react with moisture or in the presence of moisture, it will result in the formation of HCl and nascent oxygen will be given out. This any colored matter, if we have a colored matter, this colored matter will react with this nascent oxygen and render it colorless. Am I clear? So chlorine acts as a bleaching agent in the presence of moisture and its bleaching action is due to the gain of oxygen and this is the process of oxidation. So in presence of moisture, chlorine acts as bleaching agent. In presence of moisture, the chlorine acts as bleaching agent due to oxidation. In presence of moisture, chlorine acts as a bleaching agent due to oxidation. Fine. Now, the next is a reaction with other halogens or other halides. Reaction with other halides. Reaction with other halides. Now listen, the halogen which is more reactive will displace the other halogen from its salt by the displacement method. How? Suppose we take potassium bromide and this potassium bromide is in the aqueous form. When it is made to react with chlorine, chlorine in the form of a gas is more reactive than bromine. So it will result in the formation of chlorine, potassium chloride, and a bromine will be evolved. And bromine, which will be aqueous form, will be evolved. Similarly, if you take potassium iodide is in the aqueous form. When it reacts with chlorine in the form of a gas, it will result in the formation of potassium chloride. Potassium chloride is in the form of a solid and iodine or aqueous, and iodine in the form of aqueous will be given out. And iodine will be obtained in the form of aqueous. So more reactive known metal or halogen displaces the less reactive halogen from its salt solution. Now, the next is interhalogen compounds. This is very important, students. Interhalogen compounds. So, how we form the interhalogen compounds? Students, the halogens combines with each other to form interhalogen compounds. So, whenever the combination of the halogen takes place, they form interhalogen compounds. Now, they form the interhalogen compounds of the various kinds. The first question is, why the halogen forms interhalogen compounds? The reason is because of the very less electronegativity and the size difference amongst the interhalogen compounds. So, halogens combines amongst themselves, They combine amongst themselves to form interhalogen compound. They combine amongst themselves to form interhalogen compound. Why? What is the reason? Why do they form the interhalogen compound? It is due to less electronegativity and the size difference in the halogen. Due to less electronegativity. It is due to the less electronegativity and size difference amongst halogen. So, due to less electronegativity and size difference amongst halogen. Lesser electronegativity and the size difference amongst halogen. Now, these halogen compounds, they form interhalogen compounds of the type, they form interhalogen compounds of various type. And that will be the various types of interhalogen compound like AX type. They form the interhalogen compounds of the type AX, then AX3, AX5 and AX7 type. AX3 type, then AX5 type and then AX7 type. So, they form interhalogen compounds of various kind. As for example over here will be like CLF. Then we may take another example BRF, IF, etc. BRF, then IF and then etc. Similarly, they form the interhalogen compounds of the type AX3 like CLF3, then BRF3, etc. BRF3 and etc. Similarly, AX5 type can be CLF5, IF5 or BIF5, etc. This will be CLF5, IF5, BRF5. And as far as AX7 type is concerned, this will be IF7 type. Now, student, you must remember how to determine the shape of these, because in the board examination, it is being asked what is the shape of these compounds. Suppose we have to find out the shape and the geometry of interhalogen compound. So, we have taken the molecule of the type CLF3. So, here we determine the hybridization, which will be half into V plus X minus C plus A. So, this will be equal to half into how many electrons in the valence shell? 7 plus number of monovalent atom 3 minus 0 plus 0. So, it will come out to be equal to 5. So, what type of hybridization it will be? It will be sp3d type of a hybridization. Now, lone pair will be equal to H minus M minus T. So, this will be equal to 5 minus 3 minus 0. So, this will be equal to 2. Am I clear? So, these are the molecule of the kind AB3L2. I mean to say they have a 3 bond pair and 2 lone pair. And what will be the geometry of this one? So, it will acquire the T shape. This will be F, this again will be F and this will be F. So, this will be the 2 lone pair of electrons. So, what type of a geometry do they acquire? They acquire T shape. So, these kind of a questions are very common question as a 2 marks question or 3 marks question in the board examination. So if I go for the geometry over here, they will be having a linear geometry. Fine. Here they will be having a T shape. Similarly, for AX5 type, if you find out, this will be square pyramidal and pentagonal bipyramidal. They will be having a square pyramidal shape. Square pyramidal. And then over here will be pentagonal bipyramidal. This is pentagonal and then bipyramidal shape. So square pyramidal or the pentagonal bipyramidal geometry. Am I clear, student, over here? So why the compounds, why halogens combines among themselves to form the interhalogen compound? Easy is due to the less electronegativity and the size difference amongst the halogens over here. Fine. The second very important point is they are more reactive than the component halogen because the bond strength between them is weaker than the component halogen. Very important point. So they are more reactive. They are more reactive than component halogen. More reactive than component halogen. They are more reactive than component halogen. Why? Due to lesser bond energy. Due to lesser bond energy. So this is due to the lesser bond energy. Then the lesser bond energy. Then halogens. Then halogens over here. So I am clear over here. So they are very, very important points. Why they are more reactive than the component halogen? Due to lesser bond energy than their component halogen. These 2 points are clear, student, over here. Then the next will be the polyhalides. Next property will be polyhalides. This was interhalogen compounds. This is polyhalides. Polyhalides. Now student, remember, in addition to the interhalogen compound, there are certain atoms in which more than 2 halogen atoms are present together. And these are called as a polyhalide compounds, like Cl3 negative, like I3 negative. So they contain more than 2 halogen atoms over here. This will be IBr2 negative, etc. So all those ions which contains more than 2 halogen are called as all those anions are called as the polyhalide ions. Now, how do they are prepared? As for example, if you take potassium iodide, when dissolved in water, it will result in the formation of potassium ion and iodide ion, polyhalide ion. So remember, the question will be asked, iodine is insoluble in water, but it dissolves in potassium iodide. Why? Because when dissolved in potassium iodide, it will result in the formation of polyhalide iodide ion. So it will result in the formation of I3 negative ion. So iodine dissolves in potassium iodide. Iodine dissolves in potassium iodide due to the formation of I3 negative ion. So due to formation of I3 negative ion. Due to the formation of I3 negative ions over here. Am I clear? And one more property, students. These are pseudo-halogens and pseudo-halides. So what are pseudo-halogens and pseudo-halides? Next one, pseudo-halogens and pseudo-halides. What do we mean by the pseudo-halogens and pseudo-halides? So pseudo-halogens and pseudo-halides over here. Now pseudo-halogen is a halogen made up of the 2 electronegative atom or a group, and its molecular formula resembles to that of a halogen. So pseudo-halogen. Pseudo-halogen is made up of 2 electronegative atom or group. It is made up of 2 electronegative atom or group. Made up of 2 electronegative atom or group. Made up of 2 electronegative atom or group. And their formula resembles halogens. And their formula resembles halogen. Formula resembles halogens over here. So their formula resembles halogen. In the board examination, you may be asked to write the short note on this. As for example, we take Cn whole twice. So this will be called as a cyanogen. Then OCN whole twice. This is oxycyanogen. Cyanogen and then oxycyanogen, etc. Then if we take their ions, this will be called as a polyhalide ions over here. Fine. So they form anions. They form anions which resembles they form anions which resembles halide ions, which resembles halide ions in their properties. In their properties. Those anions are called pseudohalide ions. Those anions are called pseudohalide ions. Those anions are called as pseudohalide ions. Am I clear over here, student? So these are called as pseudohalide ions over here. As for example, cyanide ion. As for example, oxocyanide ion over here. As for example, sulfur cyanide ion, etc., etc., etc. I think I shall be very, very clear, students, over here. Now, apart from this, we have the anomalous behavior of fluorine. We all know fluorine shows anomalous behavior. This we have done many times previously. Anomalous behavior of fluorine. So, fluorine shows anomalous behavior. Why does the fluorine shows anomalous behavior? Due to small atomic size, high electronegativity, and then high ionization energy, high enthalpy of hydration, low bond dissociation energy. So I repeat, fluorine shows anomalous behavior due to small size, high electronegativity, absence of vacant d orbital, and low dissociation energy. Small atomic size, high electronegativity, absence of vacant d orbital, and the low bond dissociation energy of fluorine. Some of the distinguishing characteristics of fluorine: it is most reactive, oxidation state is always -1, it forms hydrogen bonding, and normally the nature of its compound will be it form ionic compound with the metal. So these are some anomalous behavior of fluorine. The properties has been discussed with you in detail. The question may be asked, why does the fluorine shows anomalous behavior? I think we can answer this. So due to small size, high electronegativity, absence of vacant d orbital, and low dissociation energy of fluorine, it shows anomalous behavior. With this, student, we complete group number 17. All of you must write why fluorine shows anomalous behavior. Am I clear, student? We'll meet again with the next lecture. Till then, thank you.